Hello, everyone. Hey, I'm Chad McDaniel with Execs to Know. I'm just going to give a couple seconds here as everyone's kind of logging in. And first of all, I just want to say thank you for your time. I know how busy we all are. Hard to believe we're almost at May. I hope the beginning of the year has been well for you. Feel free to reach out, chat at execstotknow.com. Love to connect, love to hear what's going on in your world, and hope everyone's doing well. But I just want to say thank you for your continued advocacy of making customer number one in your organization. So I really appreciate everything you do as a customer advocate with you. But today, let's get started. As we've been planning this conversation, I have been super excited about this one we titled it From Agreement to Advocacy, but really how personalized video fuels the customer onboarding. And I brought some great guests I'm going to introduce here shortly that are really going to help us visualize and educate us in this topic. So we're going to do a standard gathering. We're going to have our speaker introduction. There'll be a quick panel discussion, Q&A, and then wrap up and final thoughts within the next 30 minutes. If you're new to Execs That I Know, welcome. I've been running the community for the last 15 years. We're 8,000 members strong. We really are a corporate leadership sharing community called Leaders Learning by Leaders, best practices and insights. And if you know anything or don't know anything about us, just go to execstotknow.com. There's many things we do to enable the success of all of our customer leaders, or reach out to me again, chat at execstotknow.com. We're very blessed to have our corporate advisory board, a number of great brands that you see on here. I think some of our board members are actually dialed in today. So board members, thank you for your participation today, but a great leadership community that really help elevate the conversations like this today to all of our board members. I will say real quick, mark your calendars. We host twice a year our National Leadership Summit called the Customer Response Summit. We're going to be in beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona at the Phoenician, September 30th to October 2nd. I hope you can make the date and come spend time with us in person for those 3 days. But let's get started. Brendan and Steve, thank you very much for your time and your participation. We asked you to come on to help our community, so thank you. Brendan, let's quickly start with you. Let's do some introductions of you and the company, and then let's lean right into the conversation.
Sounds great. Thank you, Chad. Thank you, everybody, for joining today. Really, really appreciate it, and really excited to be talking about this topic today. So my name is Brendan Knoyer, and I head up marketing at SundaySky. So SundaySky is enterprise video personalization platform, and we make it really, really easy for our customers to generate content, accelerate the generate that content with AI, and then personalize it at scale for all the different ways that their businesses grow. And we work with a lot of different customer groups, but CX and customer experience and member experience is definitely our biggest group and the biggest segment of our customer base. So we work with a lot of folks like yourselves and like your teams that are using personalized video to enhance the customer experience. And that's what we're going to talk about today. And we have some great examples, and specifically going through a case study with our customer here, Steve, from Rent-A-Center. And Steve, I'd love to give you a chance to just introduce yourself really quick. And we're also going to jump into it because I also think this is a good opportunity to tell folks a little bit about Rent-A-Center. But actually, no, I'm jumping ahead on that. Excuse me. Let's just introduce yourself, Steve, and just tell everybody who you are, what you're all about, and we'll talk about the case study in a moment.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me, Chad. Thanks for having me, Brendan, and great to be with you guys. So Steve Savory, most recently Vice President of Strategic Operations for Upbound, which is the parent company for Rent-A-Center. I've been with Rent-A-Center Upbound about 22 years now, about 9 years spent in the Southeast field operations, and most recently the last 13 years corporately. I've been in the strategy and operations improvement space, largely for Rent-A-Center. So great to be here.
Yeah, welcome both. And Steve, I think you have a few customers that have used your services over time or different ways. So again, thank you for participation. Okay, gentlemen, let's lean in. We have an audience quite interested in the topic, and I'm going to turn it over to you, Brendan.
Thank you very much. And I was so excited to get to the case study that I did skip ahead. I forgot that really I want to start by setting the foundation and talking about, what do we mean by personalized video? Because it can mean different things to different people. And what we're really talking about at the simplest level is just creating a video once, a really great video once, and being able to personalize that for a
Did we lose Brendan? Okay. Well, we talked about you never know what can happen with online and gremlins, but hopefully we can get Brendan quickly back on. Steve, why don't you help us out a little bit on this particular side? I think we know where Brendan was trying to lead to. And for our audience, tell us a little bit about where kind of Brendan was heading on that.
Yeah, if you want, I could start with who Rent-A-Center is, and it kind of leads into some of the why as it relates to this use case. Although Brendan just joined us, of course. By the way, of course, this is the 1%. Of course, you called it, right? The 1%.
I did.
I do not know what happened there. I apologize to everyone. Fortunately, it was a quick little blip. But yes, Chad did say, hopefully nothing happens. And there we go.
Okay, let's jump right back in.
Great. So let's setting the stage on personalized video. And as I was saying, it's really about creating one video and being able to personalize that to a number of different audience members, whether you're sending it to 100 or 100,000. And the idea is it's dynamically tailored. So you can create that asset, and based on what you know about the folks that are viewing it, who they are, what they've done, their next steps in their customer journey, you can sync with that customer data and just dynamically tailor that video. And because you're creating this one great video, it's always on brand, it's always professional quality. It allows you to really do it at scale. And that's the real key here, is that scale, because personalization is not new. Personalized messaging is not something that's new. A personalized video is something that's been, something that's a bit trickier for a period of time. You can't, it's hard enough to create a video. Videos in the past, it can be slow. You're relying on agencies and experts to create like a really high quality video that's external facing and customer facing ready. So technology has made it easier now for anyone to be able to do more of a video, to create that quality of video themselves, but also personalize it. So you're not creating 50 different videos for different people. Like I said, you're creating one video and you're personalizing it for multiple different audiences. And that's really powerful. And then you can see all the different ways that you can apply that technology. And for CX teams, the use cases around video personalization are pretty vast. And the ones we see the most often, certainly customer onboarding, new customer onboarding and activation, communications around new product adoption, education, self-service education to cut down on support calls and questions, and infusing your knowledge library with a video, loyalty and rewards programs, not only to increase engagement around rewards programs if you have them, but also giving folks a more engaging way to see where they stand, how many points they have, that sort of thing. Renewals, expansion time, retention time, all of that sort of stuff. All great use cases for personalized video to create messaging that doesn't get ignored, that engages the audience and really tells you, hey, we know who you are. We know as a brand that we work with, we value you, we know you, and sending video content that says that to them. So a lot of different use cases for CX, and a lot of the customers and clients that we work with are using them for these use cases. So let's talk about one of them. So let's jump into it now with Rent-A-Center, and we're going to focus in more on that early stage, which is easily the most common one, I would say, the customer onboarding and activation and implementation process, that first stage. So let's talk a little bit about the unique ways that Rent-A-Center is using personalized video for that onboarding process. And Steve, now let's get back into what we were about to talk about. Before we get into that, Rent-A-Center is a known brand, but not everybody may know exactly what Rent-A-Center is all about. So why don't we start there? Like, who is Rent-A-Center, and what does that process look like for you?
Yeah, thanks, Brendan. So I think the uniqueness of who Rent-A-Center is and what we do in the transaction definitely sets the stage of some of the why around how we approached, SundaySky. So Rent-A-Center is 50-year brand, believe it or not, the largest traditional rent-owned provider or lease-to-own provider in the U.S. with 2,000 stores across the U.S., about $2 billion in revenue or so. What do? We simply, provide access to our customers, typically have little to no credit, have an immediate need for a name brand durable good. We provide access, furniture, electronics, computers, appliances through our lease to own agreement. So what does that mean in essence? So if I'm a potential customer, I need a washer and dryer. I don't have credit. I don't have the funds to pay cash. I go on rack.com or I contact my local rent-a-center. I fill out an application, get approved. I make an initial payment. So for a washer and dryer, it could be $20 or so. Sign the lease to own agreement, have the product delivered, and then I make payments from there. I was hoping, Brendan, I can cover off on a little bit of the uniqueness to our value proposition and transaction, because again, I think it sets the stage to some of the why, as it relates to this point in the journey and the SundaySky video. So from a value proposition standpoint, and specifically to the lease to own agreement payments. So as a customer, we set up payments that are tailored to the specific customer. So how a customer gets paid weekly, biweekly, semi-monthly, or monthly, we set up small payments so a customer can make those payments over time and eventually own the product or not own the product, depending on what the customer wants to do. They have early buyout options. So if I'm a customer, I make minimum payments, maximum term, which is on average could be a year to year and a half. I pay the maximum amount, but we do have a same as cash period that's 6 months. We also have a 50% discount buyout after the same as cash period. So a lot of flexibility on ownership options. And then from a additional benefit standpoint, from a value proposition, we provide free delivery, free setup, free service and loaners. If a customer wants to exchange the product because they're not happy with it within the first 6 months, we'll exchange it out and also apply the rent that they paid into it, even if it's a new product. The lease to own agreement itself is very flexible. A customer can just return the product at any point in time, no questions asked, and they never lose a payment that they put into it. They can always pick up where they left off at any point in time, progressing towards ownership. So a lot of flexibility in the transaction, a lot of benefits. What that means from us, even from a business perspective, right? Serving the underserved, higher risk profile, with such a high frequency of payments. Most of our customers pay weekly. We are more strict on payments themselves and on-time renewals. So that kind of emphasizes the setup, if you will, to, I know we have here in the center of the slide, onboarding at Rent-A-Center. What has it historically looked like? And what is the most important critical point in that initial journey of a customer? Historically, when a customer is in the store, it's always been critical to properly set the stage of understanding from a customer perspective and from a business perspective what that value proposition is, ensure that we have the transparency set up with the customer. That way we set up the agreement for success, or given the fact that the customer doesn't have any obligation to make payments, they can easily just return the product if they're not happy. So that's been a historically critical point of explaining the rental agreements to the customer properly. That was typically like a 10-minute process in the store. Probably for the last 50 years we've been doing business or so. It's a little bit of the art meeting what we do from a customer experience standpoint.
Yeah, and I think you set it up well, because we talked about this, how it is a unique transaction. So there is that level of education that customers need in order to set them up for success. But doing that, in store, not practical long term. So tell us a little bit about that onboarding process in this transition to a more digital interaction and trying to find a solution to replicate that that in-store education process, but to be able to do it via content, via video, and at scale.
Yeah, so I think just like probably most of the folks on the call, and once COVID hit, by 2020 to 2022, we saw heavy increase in web lead volume. So customers going to rack.com, expressing interest, giving us their information, saying, hey, I want a washer and dryer, and that flowing to the stores. So what we found is during that time period, the stores, from their perspective, needed to have the customer in the store to go over that rental agreement properly. But here you're a customer that went through the web, you may not be expecting to go to the store. So what we found is our conversion rates were being impacted negatively because stores were asking the customer to go into the store to go over the rental agreement process. So we had stores that were doing that, or we had the stores that were expecting an hourly coworker, delivery specialist upon delivery to try and explain the rental agreement to the customer. So we converted the customer, but there was a lot of miscommunications that were had because that coworker wasn't properly versed to go over the agreement, which impacted retention. So at that point, we were contemplating, okay, what do we do from how do we really make this physical rental agreement close more digital? And that's when we were introduced to SundaySky and the concept of, wow, we can actually bring in these key data points that we would go over with the customer that are listed on the rental agreement in the store. We can actually create a video that all of those key all of those key personalized data points and terms can be tailored to that specific customer through a video, which is where we basically had the connection and aha that we can make this work and kind of find that optimal meet, if you will, between business and customer.
Very cool. And we're going to look at an example of what that video looks like in just a minute. But first, let's talk about it a little bit more closely. So this digital agreement close video, this is the process that you're describing. Can you tell us a little bit more about what this video does and the way it works? It's particularly in how how you're personalizing and tailoring this video for different customers.
Yeah. So if you think about the rental agreement and what data points we're bringing in, right? We have a unique initial payment that the customer is making. We have unique due dates. We have unique pay schedule, and we have unique ownership terms based on the specific product the customer is choosing and that specific customer itself. So what the video enables us to do is go through each of the steps as if we were going over the rental agreement close in the store, and brings those unique data points to that specific customer almost real time. It also includes, the language preference. So we have Spanish versus English videos. And one of the other things that was important to us, at least in the store, is developing that relationship with the local store and the store manager. So it also brings in unique attributes for the customer that include local store phone number, address, and then store manager's first name. So it enables us to bring any data points that we have tagged in our database into a video, which we did. For us, I think it started with about 1.5 to 2 minute video. Now we've optimized it to about 1 minute to 1.5 minute video, where we basically incorporated it into our agreement confirmation process. So after a customer made the initial payment, and after that point in time, we would send the customer a text, and we would send the customer an email confirmation that would include the video. So right off the bat, we were hitting the customer directly with the self-service video. Then it was late 24 into 25 when we digitized our delivery experience. We were then able to bring in the video as part of our delivery checklist and operationalize it through our SOPs, where the coworker upon delivery would click the video that was personalized to that is personalized to that particular customer, and they would watch it and confirm that they watched the video upon delivery.
And I think that paints a pretty cool picture of what personalized video can do, but it can also do a lot more. And I kind of want to just add a little bit to this because yes, you can create a video and you can have, what you'd call like personalizable fields, right? Names and data points specific to the customer. Calls to action buttons can change depending on who's watching it. But video can even do more than that. You can personalize scenes. Think of a video as a series of scenes. Based on who's watching it, there can be certain scenes that are excluded, that are less relevant to them, or included because they're uniquely relevant to whoever's watching it. Like that is pretty cool, and that can be done dynamically as well. AI generated voices. I've been creating video content as a marketer for a long time, and I remember getting on the phone with voice talent and having them read scripts that we wrote and being like, no, take that again, and or enunciate this word, that sort of stuff. That's all gone now. You can use AI to generate voices, but even more so to personalize content. So you don't have to record every single new video. So if you're personalizing this material, the video goes out, say it goes out to 100 people. 100 people are going to have a somewhat different experience. They'll also hear a somewhat different experience because you can dynamically adjust that audio narration based on the content of that specific personalized video. So that's pretty cool as well. So just adding a few different notes on that. There's a lot you can do there, and the technology is always advancing, as we know. So with all that in mind, let's check out this example of the video that we've been describing here for Rent-A-Center. Like I said, it's a shortish video. We won't watch the whole thing, but just give you guys a taste of what this looks like.
We're glad you're part of the family, and we look forward to providing you with a positive experience at every opportunity. Your agreement will be managed by your local store listed here. Let's take a look at the details and make sure you have all the information you need. Your path to ownership began with your initial payment. This paid your agreement until the date shown on the screen, which is when your next payment will be due. Your payments are scheduled for weekly. Remember, it is very important to make this payment on or before the due date shown. Your next weekly payment, along with future payments, will include the amounts shown here. After each payment, you'll continue with your set pay schedule for as long as you want to continue the agreement or until you exercise one of our flexible ownership options. When you exercise our same as cash option, you can own your product at the lowest price. After that, your early purchase option provides ownership when you pay 50% of the remaining scheduled rental payments. Or you can make your regular payments for the duration of your agreement. To stay on the path to ownership, it's very important that you make payments on or before your due date. Enrolling in AutoPay is the best way to assure your payments are made on time, but we have you covered with other options.
Brendan, I think you have to unmute yourself after the video.
I had been talking on mute for about 30 seconds. Apologies. Apparently, when you press a video, it mutes me. So pretty cool. As I was saying on the video, you could see every scene there was pretty much personalized. You could see from "Hello, Jake" at the beginning to specific details about the customer's payment details, even their timeline. So pretty cool, Steve. Once you have that set up, that this is a video that creates this very tailored experience for every customer that watches it.
Yeah, full disclosure, that was kind of dummy data. In case anyone was wondering why the payments were $1,000, that's dummy.
Good disclosure. Yes. Jake,
but
Jake
yeah, that's some pretty powerful stuff. That you're able to bring almost real time to that specific customer.
Certainly. And you've seen some pretty cool results. And as I was about to say, we don't have to go through each data point here. You all can see them on the screen. But Steve, I'd love for you to just sort of share anecdotally or any of these data points that you like, some of the results that Rent-A-Centers has seen since they've activated, this personalized video to support the onboarding process.
Yeah, so I think you'd be able to speak to probably the industry benchmarks associated with how much the customers are watching. But if we're seeing over 65% on average of video, if I'm not mistaken, that's extremely high compared to kind of typical benchmarks. Yeah,
I mean, you're comparing personalized video or your video in general to some more static communications as well. If you're sending out a PDF or even like a letter in the mail, if you're like a Fiserv or an insurance company, there's lots of data points out there, and we have plenty of them on SundaySky.com. The engagement rate is much, much higher on video just in general, and it has been for a really long time. When you personalize it and tailor it, that engagement goes up even higher.
Yep. Yeah, so overall, just to put in context, I mean, if we do call it a million-ish or so new agreements on an annual basis, and we're getting over 600,000 unique views on the video, so that's extremely high. We saw the biggest increase come when we operationalized it and put it as part of that delivery checklist. So not only did you have the self-service option, where the customer watches on their own, but if you bring the whole operation across our 1,700 corporate stores or so, that is when we got significant lift to an overall engagement. We also have analyzed agreements where the customer watched the video versus not, and we do see a revenue difference in the first 4 weeks. Basically, that signals higher retention. When the customer is much more knowledgeable, you build more trust through that knowledge share up front. So we're overly happy with the video and what it's doing, and I think the entire field network would say the same.
And you notice, I just want to call out that bottom bullet about how mobile viewership dominates. That's important, right? We know most people are not sitting at their desks. Everyone's on their phones all the time, and this is a great way to catch people where they are. We know video, people watch all sorts of videos on their phones these days. Certainly that's true with Rent-A-Center customers, Steve, and it looks like to a pretty significant degree. So, obviously, the best part about video is it's very well mobile optimized. There's no scrolling. You're just kind of sitting there watching the video. So that's been very important takeaway for the Rent-A-Center team, noting that, a lot of folks are viewing this stuff from their mobile devices.
Yep.
And then just noting, kind of what's next. We're talking about this one example, but like I said near the top, there's lots of opportunities for customer experience and member experience teams to use personalized video for a lot of different use cases. And when I say personalized videos about creating one video and personalizing to a lot of folks, that doesn't mean that you'd be using a platform to create one video. There's lots of different opportunities to create content that can be personalized in different ways. Noticing here, like continuing to refresh and optimize the onboarding video, but a few other use cases here. I don't know if there's one you want to speak to, Steve, in terms of what's next. I think one of these videos is actually already live, but there's more to do on the personalized video front at Rent-A-Center, and we're certainly excited to be helping you all with that.
Yeah, one thing I can say, and the advice that I have for any organization as they're looking at is, what does the data tell you? Is where do you have your largest drop-off points, biggest opportunities of conversion, and how can personalization help? That helped us make this first use case very successful, as we had a problem to solve, and this really matched it. So that's how we're looking at not only Rent-A-Center, but also our other business lines within Upbound. How can we really fill in the gaps where there may be a lack of knowledge, and where personalization can come to bear? So we're super excited about leveraging the tool further.
Same, and I think that just to reiterate that point, a lot of the companies that we talk to, they're not necessarily looking for a video solution. They're looking for a way to do X, Y, Z better, to onboard faster, to increase, to reduce churn, to lower, support calls, to just increase overall customer engagement. And that's when we talk to folks and we can really see the story where personalized video is a great vehicle for doing that.
Well, Brendan and Steve, I want to move to some question and answers, and thank you so much for the case study. And audience, please throw your questions in the Q&A box here, and there's a few that have come in. So we're going to rapid fire, Brendan, if we may, just to get as many questions as we can. Barbara, I know you had two quick questions. Thank you. Brendan, one of them was from Barbara. Do the customer need to opt out or to opt in for this and show they are able to opt out at any time? So you want me to repeat that question, or did you get that?
Yeah, maybe repeat that. So do they have to opt out to view the video?
Do the customer need to opt in for this? And if they show they are able to opt out at any time? So that was one of the questions from Barbara.
I don't want to speak for Steve on the Renter Center side. I think what you're asking is, do they have the opportunity to opt out of communications? So this would just be like a video can be sent as a vehicle, just like any other asset that you may email out to someone. Any email that you're sending out to customers, typically there should be that, opt out or unsubscribe option at the bottom. That would be independent of the asset. That should be for anything that you're sending out. So in that case, yes, they would be able to, but not specific to like within the video player itself.
And Barbara just said if so, they can opt out at any time. Is that correct?
Yeah, from an email communication.
Yeah. They would opt out of that specific communication channel, just like anything else. So for us, right, we can text once a customer opens an agreement. It's transactional, so that's when we can send a text or email. That is the specific means in which they would be opting out of, not necessarily the video.
And I'm going to continue rapid fire here because of time. And last one that Barbara, I said the second question, there's more questions in here, but is this only, Steve, an onboarding video or video on a continuous basis? I assume it's a continuous basis for customer onboarding. Outside of onboarding, do you use other things other than onboarding?
Yeah, so we've created the video to address at the end of the agreement. That was the paid in full. So a customer pays off. There's some unique benefits that are personalized to the customer. Customers, we're looking to address that to improve our kind of CLTV meets reconversion, if you will, after they paid out one agreement onto the next. So absolutely, are we looking at the other journey points where we see the most value in leveraging the personalization?
Christopher, thank you. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us today. I know, Christopher, you had a question: is how much customization is necessary to make this an effective channel? And then, is there too much that an organization can do? So, how much customization to make this effective? I don't know if you have a thought there. I guess the sky's the limit. You can make it as customized.
Yeah, I think I understand what he's saying, though. You don't want to tailor to the point where that's all the message is just like a series of personalized data points. You still want to have a story. You still want to have a narrative. We work with our clients to kind of help craft that and support that as needed, and especially early on, right, when you're getting started on the video side, like what to personalize, what not. So yeah, the sky's the limit. There's literally very little limit to what you can personalize and for how many people. But I think the main thing is you want to make sure that the story is still cohesive. And that's the whole point. It's like you want to create one really great video and then tailor it for the folks. You don't want to create just a series of tailored videos that aren't, pushing the story ahead. So finding that balance is important, but something that that we work a lot with customers on, especially in the early days.
Okay, thank you very much. Zeke, good to hear from you. Thank you for joining us today. Zeke's question was, what data points did you use to personalize the video? Any customer demographic outside or billing details? So any thoughts there?
Did I hear that right? What specific customer data point?
Zeke's asking, what data points did you use to personalize the video? And anything customer demographic outside of billing details. So I guess that was from the example video you shown. Yeah,
so if you even just what we saw, you have unique initial payment data point, you have a unique, same as cash, you have a unique payment amount, pay schedule. So it's bringing in as basically a typical rental agreement, every data point that was unique to that customer and the terms into the video itself. As far as tailoring to demographics, what have you, the biggest slice that we would make or emphasis point is web versus in-store. We care most about that web customer watching the video that doesn't go into the store versus the customers we know already go into the store.
Okay. Well, thank you. And I know we weren't able to get to all the questions, and we will definitely try to follow up on that. Courtney, I know you had a question about, can we get this Rent-A-Sitter video example in the resources? Courtney, we'll work offline to figure out how we can get that video. Worst case is we can do a follow-up to the registered attendees and send that asset over if that works. Brendan, I'm assuming that would be fine to get that video over to the attendees, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I'll confirm with Steve. It's dummy data, but it's a great video, so there shouldn't be any concerns there. We could have shown the whole thing if we had time, but but the whole video is available within this slide deck, and I'm glad people are interested in seeing more of it.
So, Brendan, you know how fast time goes. I want to give you kind of the last quick word here, just to reiterate or suggest. And again, people can find you on LinkedIn, Brendan, and and if you want to get a hold of Brendan, I'm happy to give your contact information out. Brendan, what would be sort of the final suggestions or encouragement here from today's discussion that you just want to leave with the audience to be thinking about?
Yeah, I mean, thinking about different ways that different use cases and challenges and priorities that you have within your own teams and CX organizations that could benefit from personalized video at scale. Like I said, it's not about the video itself; it's about what you're trying to solve and the business function and requirement that you're trying to solve for. And if you have questions and ideas and thoughts on that, definitely visit SundaySky.com. We'd be happy to give you a closer look demo. You can actually take your own 5-minute platform tour yourself, which is actually a personalized platform tour, depending on which industry, in this case, you're using. So you're welcome to do that as well before speaking to any of us. That's the whole power and value of personalized video, right? So definitely check out the website, SundaySky.com, to learn more. But again, it's really about, what are you trying to solve for, starting there, and then figuring out the best way to apply video to enhance that capability.
Well, thank you, everyone, for your time. And Steve, of course, thank you for the case study, and Brendan. And you guys have been great guests. Brendan, would you come back at some point and revisit with our audience as we continue this journey? Audience, if you have any questions after the fact or just thoughts that come up after the webinar here, feel free to send them to me and we'll get those questions answered. But thank you so much for your time today. I know it was fast and short, but it was very effective too. So y'all keep making customer number one. Have a great rest of your day. Hope to see you at the National Summit here in Scottsdale, September 30th to October 2nd. If you're not part of our online community called Know It All, it is a corporate-only voice, like a LinkedIn on steroids. These type of conversations go on continuously. Please join. So other than that, Brendan and Steve, thank you so much for your time. Everyone keep having customer number one. Be well.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chad. Thanks, guys.